Hi, Art Seekers. We're here in the fantastic studio of Jennifer Korsen. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you for coming to visit.
How did you start to see the street as your canvas?
It started pretty small with stickers and things like that, and then just kind of seeing, I guess, every time you kind of walk by and see your stuff out there, it catches your eye and you kind of remember, oh yeah, I'm an artist, do this. It's really kind of nerve-wracking putting your stuff out in public, so stickers are kind of a small little gauge, I guess. I didn't know there was such a big scene in any of that, so it kind of went from like stickers to wheat paste to murals. But making a painting is terrifying because you're taking something like a white square or whatever and just turning it into something that came out of your brain. And sometimes I use reference, sometimes I don't, sometimes I just like splatter paint at something until I like it, and then it eventually comes together, but I work pretty loose and sketchy and scribbly at first. And yeah, I like the process a lot of figuring it out. I mean, I think anyone can just be like, oh, I want to paint this, and then find the image and figure out how to transfer it or trace it or paint it. And being able to like just totally make a mess and be okay with it looking terrible is, I think, a pretty cool thing to experience and get over and like work out. I think that's important for me.
And to trust that it will work out.
Yeah, that's the big challenge, is not to destroy it before I guess it's complete. I mean, I have stuff that'll sit for months, or images that'll sit, or a background, and then sometimes it's like feels like, okay, now I can do this, and then I totally mess it up and then come back to it another time, and eventually it turns into something that I like. And it never would have happened if it hadn't gone through all these like weird stages, and yeah, it's cool.
When you're planning out a work on the street, do you think about the communities that are going to pass it, and does that tailor your design at all, or not really?
Sometimes. I mean, it totally depends. I did some stuff for the Salvation Army, and for them, we were doing inspirational. I did a heart kind of like breaking out of a wall type of thing. Being able to work that large it's totally different. I mean, seeing a painting on a wall like in a frame, it's contained and it's in like a context, and you can easily just kind of like look away from it. But a wall like surrounds you, and you're in an environment, it takes up your whole like vision, and I think that's really cool, like being able to be in an environment that you painted like that.
How did you come to conceptualize the heart?
My version of the heart is kind of like a combination of an anatomical heart and the Valentine heart. I call it a metaphorical heart. It doesn't serve any like anatomical purpose. It just has like valves where they aren't. And I mean, that way I can kind of set mine apart from other hearts that are, an anatomical heart looks how it looks. It has parts and pieces, and mine has its own parts and pieces. I was always doing kind of medical anatomical imagery. The heart was just kind of like the perfect template for any kind of connection. When I was little, my mom had breast cancer, and I was always going to hospitals and just kind of like surrounded by weird tubes and machines and like products, and I just kind of was fascinated with all the like systems and how they work and how they don't work. Interior anatomy is really raw and real and kind of like uncomfortable, but also like totally universal, and yeah, it's inspiring to me.
I think it's so interesting because in a place, especially like LA, we're all so obsessed with our bodies, and we spend probably 90% of our time either caring for our bodies, feeding it, exercising it, and yet if you were to show me 5 hearts on a table, I would have no idea which one was mine. And so I think there's a strange connection / disconnection, and I feel that when I see your work because it makes me aware of that obsession.
When you said that, I pictured like you literally looking at hearts and like why you would know it was yours.
How would you know?
I've had a bunch of people come to me that have had heart surgery, or people close to them have had heart surgery, and I mean, seeing people connect to my work enough to want to share their story that's amazing, and that's what art should do. That's creating like relationships and culture and community. Is just people interacting and like sharing anything like experience or creative, and I think that's like one of the coolest things.
It's a gift to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's just so much like noise constantly, and to be able to like focus and be present and express anything really, I think is like a really cool thing you can do for yourself. And I don't know, it's a good way to learn about you and your reactions and stuff.